It's the Prep Rally Podcast, the only podcast in the state dedicated to prep sports. Brought to you by the Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Here's your host, Chip Souza.
Yes, sir. This is the Wednesday, April 21st edition of the Prep Rally Podcast. I'm Chip Souza, joined by Henry Apple and Rick Fires. Now, Ricky, last week you came in with cargo shorts and flip-flops on. Today you're in your red flannel and long johns and all that kind of stuff.
I was ready, and it wasn't even snowing today. I mean, did you see the snow flurries yesterday?
Did I see? I was in it.
You was in it?
I was in it.
Oh, my goodness. And, yeah, I thought we was headed towards May, and we went back to February.
Henry was covered baseball on Monday, drinking lemonade and enjoying that 75-degree weather. And then yesterday, snowpocalypse hit.
Yeah, Arkansas weather forgot its meds again.
That's
all there is.
It did.
And now it's back up in the 50s again, and it's supposed to be 80 degrees by Monday.
Somebody needs to go get Mother Nature, Rick, and take care of that little groundhog while you're at it. You slap that thing a couple of times.
Why? You don't mess with her. You don't mess with her. Just when you
Somebody
think you're on
must
a
have.
good side, she comes in and woo!
Somebody must have.
Yeah.
Somebody must have. Because yesterday, we had a full slate of games going. I mean, we're down to the final 2 weeks of baseball here in the 6A West, a couple of weeks. And, this is supposed to be the time of year when, warming up or getting ready to hit the beach. And, it's going to be the end of May soon, Memorial Day, pools opening, and bam, there she comes.
Here
Snow.
she comes. Somebody made her mad, so I'm not saying anything about her.
Yeah, we found out who was to blame for this, actually.
Who's that?
It's the Bentonville High School track coaches, because they rescheduled the Tiger Relays for yesterday. All I have to do is take you back to the 2013 Class 7A state track meet.
Yes, yeah.
When it was cold that day.
Yeah, a little snow that day too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's insane. But welcome to Northwest Arkansas and the weather that can change on a dime and usually will. So, Henry, we did get a full slate of games played on Monday. Mm-hmm. And Rogers and Harbor both won by identical 7-6 scores in their games, one-run wins to maintain their now 9-2 records in the conference. Now they are clear. They're going to be the 1 and 2 seeds, barring some apocalyptic meltdown of Mother Nature proportions here.
Yeah, it's a case right now. They got a 3-game lead with 3 games left to play. So either they can win today's games, or Fayetteville and Heritage both lose. They're going to get the first round buys into that state tournament
Down in Fort Smith.
Correct.
Mid-May. So we got Rogers and Harbor, Rick, both at 9-2. Looking in good shape to be the 1 and 2 seeds. However, that shakes out, and they have not played each other yet. They play each other next week.
Yeah, Monday and Tuesday.
That's going to be 2 really good ones right there. So that's where we are for that. Now, there is the proverbial. You ever been to Six Flags? The log jam they have on the log ride. That's where we are now for the rest of the teams in the 6A West. There is a log jam of standstill traffic for seeds 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, we've got Fayetteville and Heritage currently right now at 6 and 5. You have Bentonville at 5 and 6, all by itself in the number 5 spot. Then you've got the other 3, Bentonville West, Springdale, and Fort Smith Southside, all looming there at 3 and 8.
All hanging in there. So it'll be interesting the final 2 weeks of the regular season going into the state tournament. Henry, looks like there's not going to have to be a conference tournament in baseball. Looks like they're going to get all the games played, barring snow. We didn't see that coming.
Or COVID, because
COVID.
Graciously, we have got through this baseball season for the most part without COVID.
We have.
And if we can just get through Monday and Tuesday's games, barring weather and all that, we won't have a conference tournament. On the bad side, these teams are now going to have to scramble to find games next week if there's not, or the following week if there's not a conference tournament.
Because they had built in this extra
Because they
week.
set it aside for a conference
Just in
tournament.
case.
Just in case. Okay. And look like they're going to – softball too? Are they going to –
So softball the same way. Softball has not had a game canceled yet.
Good.
And they are a week – actually, they're a little bit behind baseball. Baseball played during spring break week, and softball did not.
Okay.
So they're a little bit behind. So they won't have that same situation. They're going to be playing into that week to get it finished up, I guess. Now, here's some strange things, Henry. There were a couple of conference softball games played on Monday that were not on the schedule. That, just got together and played. Rogers and Springdale Harbor, for one thing.
Those were the Tuesday games, and they saw this weather coming and say, hey, let's move our game.
They got that done. And now there's some today. Bentonville's playing Southside today on Wednesday, and it's not going to be a gimme game. Rick, Southside won a big game against Rogers last week and knocked Rogers out of first place in the conference. So now Bentonville has a half-game lead because they've won 9 games in the conference, and Rogers has won 8 games in the conference. Both of them have 1 loss. So Bentonville, by virtue of the winning the extra game, now has a half-game lead on Rogers. But those 2 teams will play again next week in another big game. But it's a big game today. Southside at Bentonville. Southside riding a little momentum after beating Rogers.
Exactly. And then you flip it to tomorrow, to Thursday's games, and you have West and Rogers playing again.
Big. That's
So
big.
there's a game today on Wednesday?
Yes.
Yeah, it was originally scheduled for yesterday, but because of the snow, and I had someone send me a message says, "Why didn't they play softball? They use yellow softballs.
Yeah.
You can see them.
Don't eat the yellow softballs.
Yeah, what if it's
don't
yellow
eat the yellow
snow?
softballs. Yeah.
What if the yellow softball rolls into the yellow snow?
Then
I ain't picking it up.
Yeah.
Ground rule double.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, but talking about, that's the nature of spring sports. I remember years ago, big district tournament, or no, there was a big game, and then maybe like a 3A, maybe it was over there at Gravett or somewhere. I drove all the way over there and get there, and there's nobody there except the coach, and he's sitting on a bag of rocks or something. I said, "What about the game?" He said, Coach so-and-so and called. We went ahead and played that game yesterday. He wanted to go fishing today. And so they move things around. Just not like football, where, you're going to play on a Friday night at 7 o'clock. You're going to play whenever it's convenient.
The beauty of spring sports. Now, before we completely get away from baseball, Henry, on Tuesday, now, they didn't get the weather down in the River Valley that we got up here.
No.
So there were some key games played down there. In baseball, Van Buren swept a doubleheader from Valonia yesterday, so that moved Van Buren. They can clinch the 5A West with 1 win in their final 2 games. They play Siloam Springs on Tuesday at home, so 1 win in that one will give Van Buren the outright 5A West championship. But how about Connor Johnson, the pitcher from Van Buren? And Harold McIlvain's writing a story on him for this weekend's Democrat-Gazette. 15 strikeouts on Tuesday.
Wow.
I mean,
That's what you call unhittable.
Yeah, 15 strikeouts. Now, I'm not a math major, Rick, but I think in a 7-inning game you would face 21 batters minimum. He struck out 15 of those batters.
So if I was playing, it'd been about 4 for me. So you couldn't blame all that on me because everybody else is striking out too.
So 4 strikeouts would have been you striking out, and then your teammates would have counted for the other 11.
That's it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And plus, if he was on the pitcher's side throwing 15 strikeouts, he could sit out there in right field, have a hot dog and Coke, and not worry about it because the pitcher's taking care of the business.
And you know what? If he was a pitcher on Connor Johnson's team, Rick could say Connor Johnson and I combined for 15 strikeouts on Tuesday. Connor had 15. He didn't have any, but we got together and combined on it.
Hey, was that like Hank Aaron and his brother? Hank Aaron had like 755 home runs. His brother had 2.
Yeah.
So his brother go
Hey.
around in the barber shop said, "Yeah, me and old Hank, we combined for 757 home runs." Yeah, he had a brother who played a major. I think he had about 2 home runs.
There you go. As long as he's in there somewhere.
He's in there.
Yep. So moving back over to softball again. So Bentonville 9-1, Rogers 8-1. Big games left certainly in the 6A West softball. In the 5A West, Greenwood wrapped up the 5A West championship softball yesterday. They swept Mountain Home, a pair of shutout wins for Greenwood. So they have rolled through the 5A West. They also want to mention last Thursday had a big game over at Farmington. It was undefeated in conference Harrison against Farmington, and Farmington Shaylee Treat 2 home runs in that game. Henry, a grand slam, and she said, "You know what? I'm going to come back and hit another 2-run bomb." She drove in 6 runs for Farmington on Thursday.
Wow.
Big win. Big win.
Grand salamis sometime aren't enough. You got to have a little
That's
lettuce, tomato, and mustard.
She had to go for the veggies for the next one.
What a great program that is over there
is.
under Randy Osnes. And I love that old-timey looking ballpark.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you guys ever build, they're building everything new over there, but please keep that old softball stadium. They got that from Arkansas, University of Arkansas, when they kind of tore theirs down and, they moved.
Bogle, yeah.
Yeah,
They sure
over
did.
there.
They sure did. So
One of my favorite places.
we talked about this, that Randy Osnes has already announced that he will be stepping down when the season ends and going into retiring from over there. Boy, good luck to whoever takes that job, but I'm sure they'll go out and get a big, Bo Thompson has a daughter, and she might be a softball player. I don't know. So Bo probably take this personal, make sure they get a really good softball coach, but he would anyways as
Yeah,
the AD.
they get somebody good.
Yeah, they will. So let's move over to soccer, Ricky. We're going into your neighborhood, and
Okay.
Bentonville and the Fayetteville girls, they are on a collision course. Both of them 7-0-1, I believe. You got to have a tie. If you can't be in this conference, not have a tie.
No, there's one team's got like 5 ties, but no, it's coming down. They originally supposed to play this week, but this is girls 6A West soccer. You talk about everything stat. There's a big gap in girls soccer. You got Bentonville and Fayetteville. I think Fayetteville has 2 ties. Bentonville is undefeated. I think, aren't they nationally ranked somewhere? Did you put that tweet out?
They're like ranked number 4 in this regional soccer.
And
poll
they're about 13-0 overall. And so Bentonville and Fayetteville will play May 4th. So if you're a big soccer fan and you're driving around, eating a mayonnaise sandwich or something, head on over there to Harmon Field and watch that game, because that'd be a big-time game.
That'd be a good one. So May the 4th will be the last playing date of the regular season. Is that correct, Henry?
No, I think they'll have another week because
okay.
because the state tournaments are like the other weekend.
The next, okay,
yeah.
okay. So that'll be a big one there. And of course, on the boys' side, no surprise to anyone, the Springdale Boys are heading the boys' side. They're still the defending state champions, Rick. You know that, right?
Yeah, because they didn't play last year, and they won the state championship in 2019. They finished 18-2. They beat Bryant 3-0. My man Rene Racinos, I did a story on him last weekend. He's back for a senior year. They got a very good club. And I saw a big game on Monday. It was Bentonville High and Rogers Heritage. They're kind of real close right there, but Bentonville won that game.
They did.
3-1, exciting game. My man Gail Gonzalez, I guess midway through the second half, he had a perfect open shot at the net, and he shot it like 40 feet too high, and hand hit the turf. I know he's frustrated, but man, he had 2 more chances there late. He got them both in. And what I love, I talked to him after the game, and completely opposite of you when you played. He credited his teammates. He didn't take all the credit for himself.
I need to have a little talk with him then.
Yeah, and I said, man, that was he said, man, my teammates set it up, and he told me exactly who got the assist on that. Bentonville's coming on. They've got 2 or 3 ties, I guess, but Coach Devaney, they beat Southside 6-0, I think it was. 6-0, I'm sorry.
6-0.
I'm sorry. And then they won that game 3-1. So watch your Bentonville boys coming on, but right now Springdale is at top of the boys standings.
The Red Dogs. So that's what's going on in soccer and baseball and in softball. Now, Henry, you went over to the Bentonville West track meet, and what an interesting story you found over there with the shot putter and discus thrower.
Yeah.
Cedric Pearson.
Cedric Pearson. Boy, my mom just goes blank all of a sudden.
Give us his background.
That's what we're here for.
It's really interesting.
Now, in the 9th grade, he threw the shot and threw the discus, and he told me he was only throwing the discus at the time maybe 110, 120 feet, something like that. But he told me he was just stand and throw. Shot put was maybe throwing about 35, 40 feet as a freshman. Sophomore year, he decides to give it up and play basketball. Well, junior year, he gets to do nothing because of COVID and all that. So, come back this year after being persuaded by the coach to say, hey, you might want to come back and try it. We think you've got plenty of potential.
Probably grown a little bit too, Henry.
Yeah, he's a good big, about 6'3", 250, 260, somewhere in that category. He currently leads the state in both categories, throws the shot put at personal best more than 57 feet. Last Thursday on his home field, the Wolverine Relays, he threw the disc a personal best 179 feet.
There you go.
That good?
That's good. That's good.
That's about 9 feet away from the overall state record.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
So he's basically not done any track for 2 years.
Correct.
And came back out this year and heck, Henry's probably put himself in position to get a scholarship somewhere if that's what he wants to do.
Yeah, I I'm sure there's a
Yeah.
a nice D2 school could pick him up, or
Yeah.
even maybe a low-level D1. So
Yeah.
hey,
That's
we think you
fantastic.
can grow
Hey,
up there.
Henry, did the high school kids throw javelin?
No,
No.
not here.
That's in
Yeah.
college.
Yeah, not.
Do you know, here's something that I don't even know why I know this. You know how people know nonsense stuff but remember Michael Landon?
That's
I
yeah.
always watch him because he was on Bonanza and all that.
Yeah.
He
Little
was
Joe.
famous for he had like the national record in throwing the javelin. That's how he came out to
Well,
California.
we also had a photographer here at one time named Ryan McGinney who got impaled with the javelin at a college track meet.
Oh,
Yeah.
how'd that happen?
Yeah, in the leg. The guy throwing the javelin got off track somehow and then sailed that thing out of the zone, I guess is what it was. And Ryan was there taking photos and I think it went right through his leg.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So more needless information. I know you probably got a lot of that.
Yeah,
and
I
do
got
too.
yeah, I got
We're walking encyclopedias of nonsense.
98% of everything I know is nonsense. But I mean, did he have to go to hospital?
Oh
and
yes.
all that?
Oh yeah. It was made national news. It was on Good Morning America, and yeah. Video of him. Yeah, looked like a shish kebab.
Wow, what a thing to get national recognition.
There you go. It's like when Cantori, whenever Jim Cantori shows up in your hometown, Rick, that ain't never a good thing.
That ain't good.
It's a good thing.
Well, Jim Cantori, he's coming over here tomorrow night.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
Pack up the batten down the hatches.
Yep.
It ain't good. So we also got some other good news going on. Henry, Bentonville West has hired a new girls basketball coach. Got that done this week.
Got it taken care of. They hired yesterday Dion Hargrove, who has been the boys and girls coach at Perryville for the last 2 years. Boys only coach at Perryville for 4 years. He's also coached at Biola, at Flippin, at West Plains, Missouri, and also at Springfield Hillcrest, which is one of the large schools in Missouri.
There you go. So West got that position filled. Randy Richardson is going to stay and continue to be teacher at Bentonville West, but is stepping away from coaching.
Correct.
So then we got that. Now, we haven't talked about this. Bray Cook, one of our own, Springdale Harbor grad, went to Arkansas, is now the new head football coach at Pea Ridge.
Mm-hmm. After he was the offensive line coach last year, gets promoted to there, and he's got the job a day before his 28th birthday. So early birthday present.
Hey, when you talk about one of our own, I covered him all the way through high school. I saw his mugshot in the paper the other day. I swear they took that from his 10th grade picture because he had a big full beard back in there. He's a sophomore, and he's got a, I said, I need to interview this Bray Cook kid. Okay, he's right over there, number 74. Okay, hey, Bray, what's up? Wow.
Yeah.
And it looked like somebody had been out in the woods for 83
I
days.
still can't. I'm 59 years old, still can't grow a beard like that.
No, you got a little bitty old goatee.
That's
I guess.
right. I do what I can do.
Somebody would, some of the girls, like, oh, that's kind of cute.
It's
but
kinda cute.
I got a real one. that's Bob Wire right there.
There you go. So Bray Cook, the new football coach at Pea Ridge, and West has a new girls basketball coach. Now, some more interesting coaching news. Brian Hudson, the coach at Elkins the last couple of years, he came in to replace Chad Harbison, who had kind of revived Elkins a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then Brian came in and continued that. He is going across, well, not the state, but across some of our area, over to Carroll County to Berryville.
He's not even hopping out of the same conference. He
That's
stays
right.
in the same conference.
Not even changing his colors either. Purple.
Yeah, purple. Just got to add a little gold to it.
There you go.
Just
There you
Well,
go.
I figured out what's going on. Brian Hudson was down in Paris.
Yep.
And he moved a little bit up here to Elkins. Now he's going a little bit up to Berryville. And then he's going to end up retired over at Branson watching all the country music
He's going to be a
shows.
singer. He's going to have a singing show?
No, he's going to be sitting in the audience.
Okay. I thought he
Sitting
might
up.
be on Soji Tabuchi or whatever his name is.
I mean, he'd be
fiddle player
the
guy.
ball knobbers or the
Ball knobbers.
head knockers or whatever they're
I
called.
got you.
But
So
he's headed to Branson.
he's
I got to
headed to
figure
Branson.
it out.
There you go. So Brian Hudson from Elkins to Berryville, which now leaves 2 football coaching vacancies in our coverage area, Elkins and Paris. The coach who was at Paris, whose name escapes me now,
Tyler Clark.
Tyler Clark, who did a great job,
Great job.
this year bringing Paris back. Rick, when's the last time Paris was good? We weren't even born then. Yeah,
1923.
absolutely. So did a good job there, and he has gone on to another place. And so Paris is looking for a football coach, and now Elkins is looking for a football coach, and I don't know who else. Those are the two openings that
Ty
I know.
went to Russellville. Is that where he's from?
I think he did. I think that's where
offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
He wouldn't go home.
Yeah, I think so. So good for him. So that's what we got going on in the coaching world. Now, also in girls basketball, a lot of you folks that follow girls basketball might or might not know this, but Scott Thompson, who was Ricky Smith's right-hand assistant coach
Years.
for all of those 7 state championships that Ricky Smith has won at Northside, and he has announced his retirement initially. I was told this initially. Scott said, I'm going to go down and coach at the new 9th grade academy over there, and then Ricky was going to have to get a new assistant coach. Well, Ricky, you're married. Henry, you're married. Scott's wife said, no, it's time for you to retire. So Scott said, you know what?
I think I
retire.
I don't know if it was his wife or maybe his grandkids talked him into it.
Somebody did, but somebody tapped him on the shoulder and said, you're done. And he said, but what about, and they said, we said you're done. And he said, oh, okay, I'm done.
End of discussion.
End of
Next
discussion.
topic.
I'm done.
Yep.
So anyway, that leaves an opening there at Northside. Big opening. It's
Huge,
big. We're talking about Randy Osnes, big shoes to fill. Scott Thompson. Assistant coaches don't get a lot of the credit, but there's Northside doesn't win state championships without Scott Thompson being there. So
I tell you what, you ever go cover a Northside basketball game, one of the first things you ever see, here comes Scott Thompson. He's going to bring you the roster.
Yes,
He's
sir.
Gonna, whatever else you needed, he had it for you.
He's on it. He is.
You know what? I've seen him in that small gym over there, auxiliary gym, and Ricky might be over there doing something and doing an interview or something. Scott Thompson's got him going.
Yes, sir.
He knows exactly what they're doing. He'll go over there to the 9th grade, scout out who's coming over to Northside. So big loss for them.
Yeah, it's Northside has the system down perfectly. They know Ricky and Scott knew what each other was going to do. Scott knew what Ricky was good at. Ricky knew what Scott was good at, and they fed off each other. And boy, that's going to be a big loss right there for Northside.
Worked for a lot of years.
Absolutely. So that's what's going on in sports with us this week. That's about all I've got. Henry, you got anything to add?
I tell you what, something we have not talked about that is looming very quickly. A lot of you, I'm sure you've heard about the ordeal with private schools.
And Rick wrote about that. Yeah, had a column about that Sunday.
Had a column about it.
Yep.
That voting is about to end. The schools are supposed to get their ballots in. I'm not exactly sure about what day, but it was toward the end of this month.
Gotcha.
And it's going to need a 2/3 majority vote to get in.
Okay.
If it passes, the private schools will be put on a basis on how well they've done.
Yeah, like a point system. Yeah.
Yeah, you get 4 points if you win a state championship. You get 3 points if you get
Conference.
If you go to the state final.
Yeah.
2 points if you win a playoff game, and 1 point for conference.
Winning record.
Yeah.
In conference.
Yeah.
And then over a 4-year span, you'll be determined if you're really good, you're fixing to go up a class. If you're midway, you can stay in that class. And if you go lower than a certain point level, well, you can drop a classification.
On merit, looking at it on merit, Henry, this is what I saw. First of all, I have no problem with the way things are now. My pat answer, anytime somebody says, "Well, Shiloh Christian recruits or PA," I said, "Get better, practice harder, work harder." That's what. You know what? If I went home when I was a kid and said the coach doesn't like me, I'm not getting to play, my parents would have said, "Then work harder." We're not quitting. We're not walking away. I'm not going to go up there and talk to the coach. This is you. Work harder. So that's my first response. Now, it's hard to dispute Pulaski Academy's dominance in 5A, just using them as an example. Also will tell you Pulaski Academy is extremely well coached. And that's usually what it comes down to is how well coached is your program. Take a look at Greenwood. Nobody's dominated any more than Greenwood. Public school, well-coached, dominant. Bryant, public school, well-coached, dominant. PA, private school, well-coached, dominant. You can't be dominant unless you're well-coached. So I think, to me, that's the most important thing is coaching, not whether you're a private school or whether you're a public school. It comes down to that person running that program.
All right, now this is what I would say as a rebuttal.
Yes.
And, I agree with you 90%. What I was trying to, when I wrote that article, got this politician Wooten wants all the schools out. They recruit, they do this all. And then after I wrote, I checked my emails, and then there's one guy said, all the private schools are treated unfairly. Every time they win, they got to be bumped up. Now, I didn't respond, but thanks for reading and responding. That's what we do.
Sure.
But if I do a story on a kid from Elkins, that kid's is going to be maybe 5 miles from where Elkins is.
Right.
This is years ago, maybe 15 years ago. I was doing a story on a Shiloh Christian kid. Where do you live at? Where does his parents live at? I drove probably 15, 20 miles outside of Springdale. So, you want a good Christian education and everything, that's fine, yeah. Anybody in Northwest Arkansas, you want a good Christian education, go to Shiloh Christian. But it's a little bit different between public and private. And what AAA is trying to do, just trying to find a sweet spot on the bat that'll satisfy everybody. So, and I just left it that because, I can see it both ways.
The one thing I don't like about the thing that they're talking about is if you have a program, let's say, I'm going to use Shiloh Christian as an example. Now, Shiloh Christian's football program is a dominant, most of the time a dominant program. So they might, over this 4-year period, have enough points where they would get bumped up from 4A to 5A.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the girls' basketball program that has really struggled to win a conference game?
They down.
They could stay below that. Now, you could have, and I'm not. Let me go to basketball. Basketball's a better thing. You could have a really good boys basketball program that might bump up in classification, and you could have a weak girls basketball program that would have to go down in classification. When that happens, you got boys playing in one conference and the girls playing in another conference, and you got double the travel.
Yeah, they can't let that.
So that's a fallacy of what they're talking about. That could be a fallacy of that.
Yeah. It has to be the sport, right?
That would be a case where they would have to really work hard with both conferences to make sure, hey, figure out a way where, maybe we can have 2 home games. The boys play, let's say, in the case of Shiloh Christian, let's say the boys have dropped to 3A while the girls are in 4A. I would get with the 3A coaches and say, hey, let's get it where we can at least have our conference games at home, together.
Now, I think this should mostly apply to me, it's mostly applying to football. Football is partition numbers. You got to have numbers. I remember when they split 7A, 6A split, and I didn't like the split, but I saw a Springdale Harbor team out there, 70, 85 kids. Van Buren comes up here, they got 55. So I can see all this with the numbers.
Sure.
In any classification, it's a number. You got to have numbers for football.
Now, as a sports fan, I would love nothing more than to see a Pulaski Academy in 7A. I think that, oh my gosh, that would be phenomenal to see them play Bryant and Conway and Bentonville, whatever. I think that would be amazing. I would love to see that as just a fan of football.
Yes.
But we'll see. It's going to be interesting, Henry. It's interesting to see how this is going to vote. Again, it has to be a 2/3 majority vote in order for this to pass. And they've put it in the ball's in the court of the schools. Yeah. And we'll see how they vote.
When is the final vote? When they got to announce it?
It's sometime by the end of this month, and then of course the AAA will have to count it and stuff like that before they proceed. But if it does not pass, please, for goodness sakes. The state legislature has no business.
None.
This guy from BB who's tried to put up this bill, that's one of the craziest ideas since Coke tried to change its formula.
Woo! We went there. He went there. Really.
Oh, I hate because simply put, if there were 80 private schools in the state of Arkansas, it'd be one thing.
It'd be different.
We have 8 that only play 11-man football.
Well, and really, Rick, 3. That could compete at that level. 3, PA, Shiloh, Catholic. Really,
Little Rock Christian.
And although Harding could hang. Well, Harding couldn't hang with PA, but they might could hang in. So let's say 5. The other ones, Subiaco Academy can't.
Well, they're 8-man.
They're 8-man football. They couldn't compete in 11-man. Mm-hmm. Conway Christian certainly couldn't compete. So it'd be difficult, but Yeah,
and
you're
at
right.
one point, didn't Shiloh Christian voluntarily move up?
They went to 5A West.
But travel was
It was
tough on
a
them.
nightmare. You know, like going to Valonia, having to leave at
Yes.
noon, and that kind of thing. So that's what got them.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
Yeah, and that's the one point that a lot of people does not understand. You know, they're harping about Pulaski Academy, you know, killing everybody in 5A. You know, if by technical rights, according to the AAA rule, PA should be a 4A school.
and Shiloh 3A.
Yeah.
And
PA
Shiloh wouldn't even be a big 3A enrollment wise. It
No.
wouldn't even be a big 3A.
But like I said,
Yeah.
it's a public schools and private schools are
It
different.
is. It is. They are. So that's what's going on
At
with
least
the.
AAA, they're trying. They're trying
They're
to come
trying to
up
do
with
something. They're trying to do something. So that's what's going on around the state and around the region in sports this week, and we are here to bring it to you. And Rick, that's about all I've got. My knowledge was not that bottle was very full, but
All right. Hey, look out the window. Do I need to keep my shorts on? Do I need to get my
please
toboggan
keep your
thing?
shorts on. Absolutely.
No,
keep, okay.
not those shorts. Like you always dress up. What you said?
You got your winter shorts and your summer shorts.
Yeah,
yes. Yeah.
So it's not snowing, right? So
Not
we're
snowing
good.
today, but
All right, we're
but
good.
hey, it's only 3:00 today, so
Yeah.
still got
That's right.
time. We still
Just
got time.
keep your long handles handy just in case.
Just in case.
I got them backseated trucks.
Just in case. So that's it for this week's edition of Prep Rally, the podcast. For Henry Apple and Rick Fires, I'm Chip Souza. Thanks for joining us, and we will catch you next time on Prep Rally, the podcast, if it doesn't snow us out. We'll be back.
Absolutely.
The Prep Rally Podcast is produced and directed by the Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Find us on SoundCloud, Apple, Google Play, Spotify, and Stitcher.